Hello, my name is Richard Gary, and this is my interpersonal communication project for Liberty University, HSER 508. Agenda for the presentation will go as follows. I am going to briefly discuss the definitions of communication and interpersonal communication. After, I'm going to talk to you, we're going to discuss about enlarging the conversation. In order to get to our overarching goal, you must know the presenter's background. That includes his family history, my profession, and a little bit of my personal life. We will also discuss my behavior blend, the pros and the cons. Then, once we discuss this, we're going to talk about my overarching goal. Why is it important that I work on this goal? Then we're also going to talk about noise pollution. What is noise pollution, and what are some possible interventions for solving this problem? We're going to discuss my barriers to interpersonal communication, and then we're going to talk about how do we improve these issues. What is communication? Communication definition is stated as follows: the continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning-making. Interpersonal communication reads as each participant is willing and able to talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the person. Enlarging the conversation is a thorough understanding of your own personal communication style in order to enhance the positive and improve the negatives with the goal of deepening the conversation between two people. A little bit about me. As I stated before, it is important to gain a thorough understanding of my overarching goal that you must know who I am as a person. Personally, I'm a 34-year-old African-American male. I was raised by a single parent, predominantly my mother. She had an authoritarian parenting style, which meant most of the time that it was her way or the highway. I come from a very poverty-stricken background. I remember times growing up to where my brother and I, we had to pack our shoes in our bag to keep from the drug dealers or the prostitutes or just gangs robbing us on the way home. And then the driving force for who I am as an individual, what drives me is the fact that I'm running from poverty. I'm the proud father of two beautiful girls, Madison 5, McKinley 1, and I've been married to my best friend, my wife, Kim, for 11 years. Professionally, I serve in the role of division director for a nonprofit organization that has a diverse workforce of 125 people. So once again, I said this is a diverse workforce with just various personalities that I come in contact with on a daily basis. My behavior blend. The definition of behavior blend reads as follows: is a predictable pattern of behaviors due to your personality that blends together to determine one's unique personality. After further research, I will come to discover that my behavior blend is dominant influential. Characteristics of this personality style includes: I'm dominant, I'm influential, I take charge, I'm a visionary, I'm passionate, I'm constantly seeking goal attainment, and I'm willing to challenge the status quo. I'm going to address the two ones that pertain to me mostly, is my willing to challenge the status quo. As I stated before, in my background, that I come from a poverty-stricken background. For me, the statistics show that I'm supposed to either be incarcerated or dead. However, with God on my side, with just constant prayer and hard work, I overcame those odds. And so now that moved over to my drive just to go against the status quo, because I don't believe in the status quo. I believe that anything is possible through faith and hard work and dedication, and God on your side. Take charge. Once again, I said in my personal life that I'm a father. I'm also a boss. But in addition to that, I'm a brother. I'm the oldest of 3 siblings. So therefore, once again, my mother, growing up, my mother had to work a lot of the time. So therefore, I was put in charge of a household and ensuring that the home was taken care of and the home was stable. So therefore, that's where my take charge attitude comes from. Dominant. Once again, as I said before, I wear many hats, but in each role, I am the dominant male figure that must take authority. And that rolls over into my professional and personal life. And lastly, constantly seeking goal attainment. As I stated before, my number one driver in life is just to escape poverty. So therefore, to escape poverty, you gotta constantly set goals for yourself, meet that goal, and then move forward. This is why I'm constantly seeking goal attainment. Behavior blend dominant and the negative, dominant influence and negative. 1, I manage conflict with stubbornness. I do not consider feelings when decisions need to be made. I do not calculate risk well. I have a controlling point of view, an eagerness to engage in conflict. I lack empathy, and I fail to listen and embrace other ideas. To comment very briefly on this particular slide is that I do agree with the negatives, and this is most of these characteristics do fit my personality style, especially fail to listen and embrace other ideas. Growing up, I remember people telling me once again that, yo, you're not going to be anything, you're not going to amount to anything. Everything that someone had to say was not positive, but it was negative. As a result, now, as an adult, I find it difficult. I find it very difficult to listen to other people, embrace their ideas, because growing up, the only ideas that I had were my own. Manage conflict with stubbornness. Yes, I can admit, Lord knows I am a stubborn individual, and I work on this daily to be better. Once again, this is due to my upbringing. How does my personal background and behavior blend influence me? Professionally, as I said before, I directly and indirectly supervise 125 people with multiple personality, with various teaching styles. I must, as a leader in my company, I must be able to relate and must be able to effectively communicate any message and make a number of business decisions. As once again, as I said in my position, I supervise a lot of people. It is my job and it's my duty as a soldier appointed by Christ to effectively lead people in the right direction. In order for this to happen, I must be able to effectively communicate verbally and written. Personally, as I stated before, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm a friend. And I must be able to accept the people within my inner circle of differences and opinion without becoming confrontational. Noise pollution, shifting gears. According to noiseoff.org, is an unwanted human created sound that has the effect of being annoying, distracting, painful, or physically harmful. There are 2 types, internal and external. Examples of external would be trains, kids, annoying in-laws nagging. I believe some of us have some of those. Dog barking. And then internal is our thoughts, our unshared opinions, and our judgment when someone is talking to us, or just when we see someone. It's just the thoughts in our head that's going around that's clouding our perception. Now, to every problem, there's a solution. Noise pollution intervention. One thing that you can do is to stay close to the person that you're speaking to. You need to be in, which is called proximity, into which you get close enough to the individual to where you are focused, or you're engaged in their conversation. Close doors or create an atmosphere. You want to create an atmosphere conducive to communication success. That means if you need to turn off the cell phone, if you need to silence the cell phone, if you need to close the door, if you need to go somewhere to where there are no distractions, the presenter deserves the opportunity to be heard, while at the same time you deserve the right to hear what the presenter is discussing. Be unselfish. Truly listen to the presenter. Once again, do unto others as you want to be done unto you. Let's practice that here. Write down ideas. While you're engaged in the conversation, take notes so you can get a thorough understanding of the subject matter being presented. Or you can ask questions to receive clarification. Take a moment and focus the mind before engaging in conversation. Oftentimes, we talk before we think. That's not a good thing. That's what we need to do first, is that we need to focus, gain an understanding of what the presenter told us, take it in, develop our ideas, develop what we want to say, then speak. Move the conversation to maximizing and sharing. Once again, when we enlarge the conversation, we are trying to improve the communication between two people, not one. Now, we have discussed my behavior blend. We have discussed my background. And I hope I have given you an understanding of now we're moving forward with the overarching goal. What is my overarching goal to be a better listener? This is what I came up with. To be an effective and supportive listener. This includes me not being judgmental, not taking ownership of the presenter's problem, not agreeing or disagreeing, not being a ritual listener, and not defending my position when someone disagrees. In return, I want to be empathetic. I want to be supportive. I want to be coaching. I want to be guiding. And I also want to be confident that I have a thorough understanding of what the information that was shared with me by the presenter. What are my barriers to communication? 1, I hear only what I want to hear. 2, I'm a biased listener. And 3, I take ownership of the presenter's problem. I hear only what I want to hear is defined as when the listener hears what they want to hear, but it's not what is really communicated. As I stated before, my reasons is that as a child, I remember growing up and just constantly being criticized, just constantly being told, you're not going to do this. You're not going to amount to anything. So when anytime any form of constructive criticism takes place, I immediately find myself shutting down, not willing to participate anymore, because I assume that when the person is speaking, they are saying, Richard, I am disappointed in you. I am not confident in your ability to perform the task that I have given you. But this is quite contrary to what the presenter is saying. What? 2, biased listener is defined as when an opinion is formed about the level of and value of what will be said. Reasons, individual currency, and resource control due to the position people say what they think you want to hear. Now, I have a bias at work. Once again, I told you that I supervise 100-something employees. I fully recognize the power that comes along with my position. And oftentimes, finding an honest answer is sort of like finding a needle in a haystack. I ask people, what do they think? What are their opinion? What needs to happen? And oftentimes, the answer that is given to me in order to please me or to think that's the answer I would like to hear, that's what I'm told. So I expect that. I expect to hear people not give me a truthful answer. James 1:19 states, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." To be successful, I need to utilize the following methods. Decoding is defined as when the listener checks their interpretation of the message with their presenter. This is something I have not done in the past. What I do is that I assume this is what the presenter is saying, and I just go away and do not ask any questions. What I've learned from decoding is that I need to ask questions to the presenter and say, okay, come again, let me be correct. Is this what you're saying? Or what are you saying? I need to make sure that I'm actively engaged in conversation with the presenter to make sure that once we leave that room or once we end the conversation, we have a thorough understanding of the subject matter that was presented and to move forward. Repeat accurately. Repeating the last paragraph, the last sentence, or the last word or two, use the very same words, phrasing in the talker used. Once again, this is about gaining a thorough understanding of the conversation, so there would be no miscommunication. Once again, as I stated before, this is a common problem that I have made in the past. However, from my research and from my studies in this course, I have learned that once again, I must actively engage in conversation with other people to understand their point of view. Once again, the reasons is I must listen to the presenter. I must gain a true understanding of what is being said, not what I perceive. And it also permits me the opportunity to connect with the presenter, in which previously I was not doing before. I would just listen to the person and just take it at face value based on my own perception, my own noise in my head, instead of receiving clarification. Once again, that's my interpersonal communication project. I hope that you have found it enjoyable, and I hope that you have learned a lot from this process like I have. Once again, just to sum this up, I have learned about my personality style, that is DI, dominant, influential. I've also learned the pros, I've also learned the cons. I also learned the definition of noise, communication, and interpersonal communication. But as I have learned those, I have also learned my shortcomings and how to overcome them. My goal is to become a more effective listener, not only for professionally, but personally, so I can be a better person and meet Christ's goal for me in my life, to empower others to be better. Once again, this is Richard Gary. God bless. Thank you.